morning, Jacktackers, and welcome back to another monthly month in review, where I go over all the movies and TV I watched this month. This specific month is March, and well, overall in the world, March 2020 was pretty crazy, but it definitely gave us some time to watch some movies and TV. So let's start off with the TV, of course, as usual. I want to mention Survivor, specifically, Winners at War, since that's the season that's been going on. Now, I've been watching this show for a few years. I'm not going to pretend like I've been there since day one. I know there's a lot of people who have watched this since, like, when did it start? Like, 2000, I think? Wasn't even alive in the year 2000. So, I haven't seen every season. I've just been starting to watch it the past 3 years, maybe. I love the show, though. I really do. It's so entertaining. This season's been pretty good so far, to see all the past winners. I mean, obviously, I recognize some of them, not all of them, again, because I just started watching about, 3 years ago or so. But I just want to mention that real quick. If you haven't seen any episodes of Survivor, go check it out. It's I don't know. I think it's a great show. Then I watched some Better Call Saul, season 5. This season's been pretty good so far. I've been really liking it. Then I watched Walking Dead. This season, the second half of season 10 has been pretty decent. Michonne's final episode was pretty great, and I think the episode even before that, which I'm not going to get into spoilers, because that was a crazy-ass episode. I believe it was episode 12. That episode was insane. Then I watched some Clone Wars, specifically talking about the Ashoka stuff, or Ahsoka, sorry. I always mess that up. I'm interested to see what they do with her character this season. Has this season been great? In my opinion, no, but I'm still enjoying it, and I'm still excited to see more. Then the last major thing I watched this month was Tiger King. Guys, I know I've already talked about this show quite a bit on the channel in some of my previous videos, but Tiger King, watch it, dude. I mean, please, please, please watch it. It's only 7 episodes. What else are you going to do during this quarantine time? Watch Tiger King. It's the craziest thing you'll ever watch. I don't know, man. It's honestly one of the best things I've seen this year, if not the best. But anyway, moving on to some of the films that I've seen this year, which is actually quite a few, or not this year, but this month. I saw Superman Red Son. This was the newest, I believe, DC animated film, and I liked it. It wasn't amazing. I'm not a huge Superman fan, but I mean, it was okay. Whatever. Then I watched Batman Gotham Knight. Don't know why. This came out in 2008, and I believe, like, supposedly, rumor has it, takes place in the Dark Knight universe, which I hope not, because this film was ass. Then I watched The Invisible Man. Really good. Big surprise this year, I would say, in terms of no one really thought that this movie would be this good. And I don't love it. I thought the twist was kind of unnecessary, in my opinion. I've already talked about this a little bit in previous videos, but, The Invisible Man, still a good movie overall. Then I watched The Last Thing He Wanted, which was a Netflix original. I only watched this because Ben Affleck was in it. And, I mean, I guess he did a good performance, but this movie's not good at all, really. Then I watched Prometheus. Prometheus, man, one of the better sci-fi films I've ever seen. Now, if you guys don't know, I was actually watching the entirety of the Alien movies, and Prometheus is connected to the Alien universe, and this is one of the better Alien movies, in my opinion. I still think the original 1979 version is better. Aliens, I think, isn't as good as Prometheus. I know that's a hot take. I still love Aliens, but, I think Prometheus, I don't know, man. I really like Prometheus. Then I watched Goldfinger. I've been going through some of the Bond films. I think this was before, or maybe it wasn't, I don't know, before No Time to Die was pushed all the way back to November. I'm just trying to get into the James Bond films, and a friend recommended me some of the older films to watch, and obviously I'll watch the Daniel Craig films. I've seen Skyfall, but other than that, I haven't seen any of the other Daniel Craig films, Bond films, that is. Goldfinger, though, I thought was meh. I'll be honest, I haven't really enjoyed any of these Bond films yet. They're all pretty boring, in my opinion. Then I watched Guns Akimbo. I didn't really like this movie, honestly. One of the worst films I've seen this year, specifically talking about films that were released in 2020, of course. But, yeah, I mean, it wasn't, the worst film I've seen as a whole, but, just, specifically this year, yeah, it was probably one of the worse ones, but whatever. Then I watched Alien Covenant, the newest Alien film as of now. Pretty good. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. Not nearly as good as Prometheus, in my opinion, but I still liked it. Then I watched a short film called Scorpio Rising. I don't know why, but my sister recommended me to watch this. Pretty fucking weird, if you ask me. But it's okay. I don't know. I like the music. I don't think there's any dialogue in this film. Maybe some, but like it's basically just I don't even know how to describe it. Just watch it. I think it's about like 15 minutes long. I don't know. Just check it out. It's decent. It's weird. I like the music. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Then I rewatched Toy Story 4. This is my second viewing. I don't know why, but we watched this in my Spanish class. Okay. My thoughts on this film have changed though a little bit. I thought it was okay now. I mean I didn't think it was bad before, but I just thought it was super unnecessary, and I still think that this film's kind of unnecessary because I love Toy Story 3's ending so much. But I don't know. This is such a weird movie to me, man. I still really like this film, but I don't know. I just it's very weird because I think Toy Story 3 was just the perfect conclusion, but whatever. Then I watched Wait Until Dark. Decent. I think the third act's definitely where it hits the fan a little bit, because I think the third act. I mean, usually the third acts of films are pretty good, because that's the climax and everything's coming together. But I do think the majority of this film isn't amazing. But yeah, the last maybe like 10 minutes or so, pretty good. Then I rewatched Forrest Gump. This is like maybe my fourth time seeing it. We watched it in my history class back when I used to go to school. LOL. But yeah, this movie's great. Like honestly, like fuck. Like dude, Forrest Gump's so good. If you haven't seen it, just watch it. Like it's good, man. Then I watched Blade Runner 1982, not 2049. I don't know. If, kind of boring if I'm being completely honest. Like I don't know. I know there's a lot of themes and a lot of ideas kind of put into this film, and you can really dissect and get into this movie. And maybe upon rewatch I would think of it in a different light, but as of now I'm just kind of like, okay, it wasn't bad, I suppose. Whatever. Then I watched The Waterboy. I don't know why, but I watched it. I had never seen it, and it's just another Adam Sandler sort of comedy. I mean, I like Adam Sandler. Y'all know Just Go. It's one of my favorite films of all time. Not even lying. I love that film. And I think this is regarded as one of the better Adam Sandler films out there. Apart from like Uncut Gems, anyways. A lot of people love The Waterboy. I thought it was good, but like it wasn't amazing. Some people like thought it was like a classic, and I'm like, oh really? Oh, my bad. Then I watched The Way Back. I've already talked about this movie quite a bit on the channel. It's good. Go watch it. Then I watched Batman 1966. Never seen this, and I was doing a podcast with a friend of mine. We were ranking all theatrically released Batman films, and I hadn't seen Batman 66. And I surprisingly loved it. Not like a lot. Like it's not a masterpiece, obviously, but like it's pretty damn good. It's enjoyable. I like it. And surprisingly enough, the next film I watched that I had never seen was Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, regarded as one of the better Batman films out there, at least Batman animated films, that is. And I don't see how it's a masterpiece or great. I think it's fine. Like I really don't understand what's to love about this film. But if you love it, good for you. I love when people love other movies because I know the feeling of loving a movie a lot, and it's just a great feeling to have. So if you love this movie, congrats. I don't hate it. I'm just saying, okay, probably will never rewatch this one. I'll be completely honest. Then I watched On Her Majesty's Secret Service, another Bond film. Not good. Pretty just really boring. I'm sorry. Then I watched Zodiac. This is pretty good. Pretty scary and a little unsettling if you like really think about it. All these cases of this guy killing people, they never never were solved really. So that's just kind of creepy in that regard. Then I watched yet another Bond film. I think this is the last Bond film I've seen as of now. The Spy Who Loved Me. who cares? Then I watched The Invisible Man 1933. Pretty good. Nothing amazing though. It's very I don't want to say generic because it's not, but it's an old movie. It's an older movie, and I have nothing against older films. The Wizard of Oz came out in 1939, one of the best films ever made in my opinion. You have some of those hidden gems in there, and this is an okay movie. Like I don't hate it by any means, and yeah, it's pretty good. I'll leave it at that. Then I watched Paranormal Activity. Never seen any of the paranormal films, and I saw the first one and the second one, which we'll get into in a little bit. But the first film, it's kind of like a classic in my opinion. Like, dude, I know it's like very low budget, just a very basic, I guess, idea for a horror film, but it works so well. Then I watched Charade. It's okay. Again, similar to Wait Until Dark, I think the last maybe 10 minutes of this film is the best part and is pretty enjoyable. But other than that, don't care too much for it. Then I watched Men in Black. I really like this film. It's pretty good. Yeah, there's nothing too much to say about it. Never seen it. Well, I've seen Here's the thing about this film. I've always seen clips of it and and little scenes of it, but I had never sat down and watched this film in its entirety. Finally did, and yeah, now I can say I've seen Men in Black, so it's good. Then I watched the Postcard Killings, which was a really random film I don't think barely anyone saw. I think it was like a direct-to-video release. I don't know if it ever came out in theaters this year, but it starred Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And if you guys don't know, he plays Negan on The Walking Dead. Love The Walking Dead. And this is really the only reason I wanted to watch this film, because Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in it, and it came out this year, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. I mean, it wasn't the worst film I've ever seen. I don't regret watching it, I suppose, but it wasn't like great. Yeah. Then I watched The Hunt. This movie's weird as fuck, man. I don't know if I really like satire, I'll be honest. I know this whole film is satirical, and I don't know. That's not my sort of style, I guess. Then I watched Big Time Adolescence. I hate this film. Then I watched Men in Black 2. Not nearly as good as the original film, but it's not like the worst film. Again, I keep saying that. Not the worst film I've ever seen, because it's not. It's decent. I'll leave it at that. Then I watched Men in Black 3, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the best Men in Black film. I know, maybe that's a hot take, but fuck. This film is cinema, and that's all I'm going to say. Then I watched Brahms the Boy 2, which I remember seeing The Boy way back when in 2016, 2015, whenever the fuck it came out. Starred Lauren Cohan, also an actress on The Walking Dead. And that's a main reason I wanted to see the first film. And I really liked the first movie. I think it's a masterpiece or anything, but I think it's good enough. Going into this film, however, I knew Lauren Cohan wouldn't be in it, which is a downer. And this movie's dumb as fuck, let's be honest. Then I watched Men in Black International, the worst Men in Black film out there, and not good. Then I watched Paranormal Activity 2, so this is a worthy sequel, I would say, of the first film. Not as good as the first film, I would say, but it's decent still. So, yeah. Then I watched Emma, which I wasn't planning on watching this, but it came out on VOD, and y'all know me, I pirate stuff. So I just decided to check it out, and I was like, well, pretty boring, but I think the set design and costume design is really great. And other than that, though, I didn't really care for it. Then I watched Onward. Not a great Pixar movie compared to some of the other films in the library of Pixar movies, but I still thought this movie's pretty good. I know some people really liked it, some people just thought it was okay. That's me. I think it's fine. It's perfectly fine, let's be honest. Then I watched The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Now, I had seen The Fellowship of the Ring way back in I think 2018, so it had been a bit, but I really didn't want to rewatch Fellowship. I probably should have, just to refresh my memory, since it had been a year and a half since I had seen the film. But guys, I promise you, I have seen The Fellowship of the Ring in its entirety. I don't want to rewatch it, so I just started with Two Towers again. And guys, I don't like Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on. I watched Bloodshot. This is okay. It wasn't a hot mess, in my opinion, but it wasn't that great either. But yeah. Then I watched The Gentleman, pretty good. Let me just say that the opening title sequence is cinema. And yeah. Then I watched The Banker, which was an Apple TV Plus original. Or Apple TV Plus? Or is it Apple? I don't even know what the fuck it's called. But I don't know. I thought this movie's pretty boring. Sorry, but yeah. Then I watched The Platform, which honestly, this is the worst film I've seen of 2020 so far. I know a lot of people really enjoy this movie, but dude, like, it's so fucking disgusting. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I judge films off my enjoyment. I just feel like that makes sense. I know some people judge it off of technicality standpoints and all that bullshit, but like, I'm sorry, like, if I don't enjoy the movie, then I can't like give it a good rating and say that I like the movie, because I don't. It's so gross. I'll never rewatch this movie, dude. I'm sorry. It's really one of the most disturbing films I've ever seen. I think it's a very cool concept. That's the thing. I think it's very cool. Very cool concept. Cool set design. But other than that, man, ooh, it's gross as hell. Ew. Then I watched Underwater, which was okay, like, whatever. It's basically Alien but underwater. Yeah, it's whatever. Then I watched The Call of the Wild. This was surprisingly good. I don't think it's amazing, but I like it more than other people do, I think. Some people thought it was just meh. The only main complaint, as I mentioned about this in previous videos, is the CGI dog. The CGI dog looks dumb as hell. I understand why they decided to do it, but, like, dude, it looks bad. Then I watched The Scarecrow, which was a High Top Films short film that he made in 2019. Never seen it, so I watched it, and it's pretty good. Then another short film by him, Date Night, which, again, I had already talked about in previous videos. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know which one I like more. I think in my other video I said The Scarecrow was better, but Date Night, I still like Date Night a lot. But yeah. And then the last film I watched this month was The Return of the King. I watched the entirety of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so I can have a solid opinion on it. And now that I've seen all the movies in the trilogy, I can say that I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. They aren't like awful films, obviously. They're watchable, kind of, and they do have good moments in the films. But overall, I just can't get into it, man. And, maybe in like 10 years, I'll watch the Hobbit trilogy. Maybe. I know those movies aren't as good as this trilogy. I think people still like them. Like, I still think they get good ratings. Like, I think they're good films, but I think the general consensus from what I've seen is that obviously this trilogy is miles better than the Hobbit trilogy. Anyway, that's all the movies and TV I've watched this month. Let me hear some of the movies and TV you guys watched this month. And I'm sure next month I'll watch a bunch more movies and TV shows because I'll still be in quarantine. Anyway, guys, if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Boop.